Get positive. How's it going? What I got for you guys today? Another Wi-Fi battle. Yes. Now, of course, if you guys do enjoy this, then make sure to hit that like button, guys. The support is greatly appreciated. And I'm trying to get you guys back in the mood of Wi-Fi coming back to the channel, because once ORAS hits, I will definitely be uploading a lot more Wi-Fi. Showdown will still be here, but just Wi-Fi will be uploaded more than it is now. And just, yeah, I'm sure you guys don't mind that. And if you couldn't tell from the teams, this is indeed an NU battle. This was against Jean. Unfortunately, I forget his Twitter handle. I apologize, man. But if you see this, please leave a comment down below and let me know. I'll make sure to add your Twitter link and possible channel link, if you have one, in the description below. So my team is just kind of one I threw together. I just really wanted to use anti-lead Archeops, Fistplate Primate, Banded, Mesprit, Scarf Rotom, offensive Probopass, and then there's a Whirlipede, because I like Whirlipede. I've always liked Whirlipede. I've just never really used it. But looking at my opponent's team, oh my lord, he literally has 5 threats and a Crustle. Like, everything on his team is just dangerous to my team. The two main things, though, that I saw were going to be Kangaskhan and Pyroar, just because I really have no safe switching to them, and they hit extremely hard. So predicting him to lead off with the Crustle, I'm actually going to lead off with my Archeops, and I'm going to go straight for the taunt, as he makes a very nice play, predicts that, goes for the Rock Blast. Unfortunately, he misses, which is going to allow me this turn to not only get on my rocks, but I will be able to live Rock Blast if he only gets 2 hits, which I get lucky again, and he only gets 2 hits. But as you can see, I'm going to get a bit of bad luck as I go for the Endeavor. I went for Endeavor over Head Smash just because I didn't want to miss Head Smash, and I wanted to get off the guaranteed damage with Endeavor. But as you see, he has the red card, and red cards me out into my Mesprit as he goes for the knockoff, which really sucks because I was hoping to have Mesprit take a hit from the Pyroar later in the match, and then I could go for a Healing Wish or a Zen Headbutt to possibly knock it out. That is no longer going to be the case, as I finish him off with an Adamant Stab Zen Headbutt. He brings in his Mismagius, but he ends up making a very questionable play. I don't know if this was a misclick or what, but he ends up going for the Dazzling Gleam as opposed to going for the Shadow Ball, and this really ends up costing him in a couple of turns, as he's going to follow it up this turn with the Shadow Ball after I already got off a humongous chunk of damage. Even after the Kobo Berry, I brought this Mismagius down to around 2 or 3%, and then I make a really dumb play of my own, and I bring in Whirlipede thinking, oh hey, Mismagius can't do anything to stop me from getting up hazards, and it completely escaped my mind that 9 times out of 10 Mismagius do carry taunts. So yeah, that was just a really bad play on my part, as I then go for the Poison Jab. Turns out that he has the Destiny Bond, but I get really lucky and I don't finish off the Mismagius. Reason being is that later in the match I will still have a chance to get on my hazards, possibly against that Leafeon or that Kangaskhan. So I switch into my Archeops, predicting him just to want to go for another Destiny Bond, and even if he had gone for the Shadow Ball, I would have just been able to bring in my Rotom and Volt Switched out and knock them out. So I'm just going to go straight for the Head Smash, and this is where him missing Rock Blast earlier cost him, because I'm going to be able to knock out the Mismagius. And even at the amount of HP Mismagius was at, the recoil damage was still enough to finish off my Archeops, which I was actually really surprised about. So he brings in his Mesprit as I bring in my Scarf Rotom. Now, he has 2 normal types. There's really no reason for me to go for Shadow Ball, so that's why I thought about going for Shadow Ball, but at last minute I was like, no, I'm just gonna Volt Switch. Shadow Ball is too obvious, which means the switch out's too obvious, so he is gonna switch out, so I'm gonna go for the Volt Switch so I can get switch initiative. As he does bring in the Kangaskhan, I'm gonna bring in my Whirlipede, because I should be able to live any 3 hits this thing wants to go for, so I will be able to live 1 hit, get up a layer of T-Spikes, and then just start going for Poison Jab. Maybe we can get a Poison and just finish off this Kangaskhan. As he gets a crit with the Earthquake, I'm really not worried about it, because next turn I'm just going to go for the Poison Jab, see how much damage it does, and again, maybe get a Poise. He gets 2 crits in a row on my Whirlipede, which really sucks, because his Kangaskhan, as I said, is one of the 2 biggest threats on his team. So I'm going to predict him to go for Sucker Punch and not go for Return, and I'm actually going to go for the Trick. In hindsight, I guess I could have gone for the Will-O-Wisp, but I would rather have this locked into 1 move than it being able to freely switch up moves. But then again, it would have been nice to keep the Scarf on my Rotom, so maybe I should have gone for the Will-O-Wisp and not the Trick, but I didn't want to risk him going for Return and just yeah, you get what I mean. I just Trick in the long run was my safer play to do. As he brings in Mesprit, the way he brought it in has me thinking that he's Scarf because Mesprit doesn't outspeed Rotom. So what I'm going to do is switch into my Pro Pass, predicting him to maybe want to go for a knockoff or a Zen Headbutt, but he ends up going for the U-turn as he's going to U-turn on now into Leafeon, and unless he has like Hidden Power Ground or something, then there is no way this Leafeon can do anything to my Pro Pass, but it doesn't matter because I am actually going to go for the Volt Switch, seeing as he didn't have a Ground type. So I'm going to be able to bring in my Primeape. Now Leafeon and Primeape do actually have the same base speed. So what I'm going to do is stay in, hope that I win the speed tie, because I'm fist plate as I mentioned, which means this close combat, after all the damage this Leafeon has taken, should be more than enough to finish him off. But he ends up making a bit of a misprediction here. So he brings in his Pyro, which I'm thinking is because he probably thought I would go for the U-turn, because not only is it super effective against the Leafeon, but it's also super effective against the Mesprit, which he might have thought that I was going to predict him to switch in to take a close combat, but I do just bluntly go for the close combat, and I'm going to be able to just annihilate this Pyro, which means Pyro and Kangaskhan, his two biggest threats, are now... Well, Pyro is gone and Kangaskhan is crippled, which means I have a much easier leeway in this match and I can hopefully start winning it back and maybe pull out the victory. So I'm going to switch into my Pro Pass as he ends up going for the Zen Headbutt. That does literally nothing after leftovers. Well, it might have done like 2 points of damage after leftovers. But because I am modest max special attack, I'm just going to stay in and I'm going to start firing off Flash Cannons because he really has no safe switching thanks to me being able to get up Stealth Rocks and that one layer of T-Spikes. Did you see how much damage that did to Mesprit? By no means is Mesprit a glass cannon. It has really respectable bulk, as he's gonna switch directly on now into his Leafeon, which further confirms the fact that he most likely was Scarfed, because he should have just gone for the U-turn. Even if he hadn't had done much damage, still any damage is good damage, as I just straight up knock this Leafeon out. And at this point, his last two Pokemon are the Mesprit and the Kangaskhan, which I pretty much won the battle, honestly, at this point, because there's nothing he can do. If he wants to lock himself into Double Edge, I have Pro Pass. If he wants to lock himself into Earthquake, I have Rotom. If for whatever reason he wants to lock himself into Sucker Punch, I can burn him with Rotom and just... You get where I'm going with this. The battle's over, but can I just say that the animation for Healing Wish is actually really cool. And he's just going to bring in his Kangaskhan, and at this point I'm just going to leave him Pro Pass. I don't really care what he wants to go for, and I'm just going to start firing off Flash Cannons as he's going to end up blocking himself into the Double Edge. And yeah, that is basically going to be the match. So I was actually really worried there near the end of the battle, thinking that I was going to lose, but thanks to his misprediction with Pyroar, that just gave me so much leeway and free opening to be able to come back and win the match. And just, yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy the battle, and if you did, then make sure to hit the like button, guys. And if you missed my 2 previous uploads, then they are playing on your screen with annotations if you are on your PC, so click them, check them out, and just, yeah, with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow. So later, everybody.